If you get right down to it, it's very, very easy to understand why narcissists hate the chosen ones. Think about if you were the one that was always kind of anxious, always in fear that people would find out that you're just a shell of a human, that basically you're a false entity. There is no true person there, no true personality, no true likes or dislikes. They're always just trying to glom onto whatever they think will win more narcissistic supply. And then you come along and they see you as someone that is connected to divinity, and from that connection is able to draw from it that resilience, that just love of life, that enthusiasm, and to be genuine and authentic. That's the furthest thing from their capabilities. You know, I remember like being a teenager and my brother actually admitting a few times, like, you know, it's like, that's so cool, you know, he would say that you can just take a ride by yourself, a motorcycle ride for 2 or 3 hours. That's really cool. You know, I'm not really capable of doing that. And then like 6 months later, he kind of switched up and he was like, yeah, I've been taking rides by myself too. But he already kind of revealed to me that he's not able to. And then all of a sudden he started saying he was doing it too. So I'm not sure if he ever really did it or not. But also, like, when I went on a few motorcycle rides with him and his best friend, I wore both really like Vans, way back though, the kind that had laces, only like 3 holes on each side. But I'd wear these Vans with a thin sole so that I could just kind of feel the pegs a little bit closer, feel a little bit more connection with the bike, not just through the hands, but through the feet too. Now, granted, it was kind of dangerous because you have no protection for your foot or your ankle, just these little canvas, tiny bit of rubber and canvas. But, you know, I remember him telling my mom in front of me, you know, it's so cool that Sheldon is able to do things that, you know, step out of the norm and do things that he might even get judged negatively from. And yet he's just kind of able to be true to himself and go ahead and do it anyways. And so, you know, my brother was admitting admiration back then. He used to admit a lot of things to me back then because, you know, I was a minion of his. I was obeying everything he told me, from what shoes to wear that day to what pants to wear, everything, what music to listen to. You know, he'd say, this is your new favorite album. And it had to become my favorite album. And then 6 months later, he'd say, we don't like that album anymore. Do not admit to anyone that you like that music. Okay. And I would just be a yes man. And so I was in good stead with him. And so he admitted these things of authenticity and kind of fearlessness on how I would be judged socially, and being able to spend a lot of time by myself. Another incident is I went and I was like maybe 17, 18, and I got up at like 5 in the morning and took my motorcycle up Beverly Glen Canyon all the way up to Mulholland. At the top, I grabbed a couple Coronas first, and I sat there for like an hour and I watched the sunrise by myself, you know, at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. or something. And then when I shared that with him, he just like was once again like kind of admitting that he admired that ability in me to just be able to appreciate a sunrise that much, and to be able to, really enjoy myself alone in solitude and quiet for an hour. And these things he stopped admitting as soon as I kind of, I guess it was kind of like around age 24. No, it was really started when he met his soon-to-be wife. So that was age 21, pretty much. But we were still working out together at that time. I was still going to nightclubs with him. So it was kind of starting, but he already, by that age, he would not admit anything good in me by age 21. Except to my looks. He would always, even from 21 to 24, say, wow, your face, your bone structure, you're really looking like a man, and so things like that. But, compliments on your looks are kind of just like whatever, because you got no control over that. It's not anything you can be proud of. But narcissistics, just like Satan, it's when Satan got a view of himself somehow in heaven, that when he saw his own beauty, that his pride started to take off. Same with narcissists. So narcissists too take great pride in God-given abilities of intelligence, God-given looks, your good looks. They take great pride in your athletic ability. They take great pride in these gifts from the Lord, instead of being humble about those things and being thankful. So, then ensues when you fall out of good favor with the narcissist, that's when the smear campaigns happen. And those smear campaigns can be kind of tough, because if it's family, these are family members you've known your whole life. Maybe they're only people that you see, at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and funerals, but they're still family, and they're believing these things, and they're acting really strange around you. And you really don't know. You didn't go to school to understand narcissism. No one understands this stuff until slowly, over decades, you figure it out. So when all those family members are looking at you with that question mark over their head and withdrawing and avoiding you, or maybe even like whispering and kind of looking at you as they whisper to someone else at parties, you're just like, what in the hell's going on? And sometimes it can start really, really young. Like my mother's side of the family, they were much more narcissistic than my father's side of the family. And oh man, my own grandmother, it's like I hardly ever had a conversation with her. She didn't care. All she cared about is being the center of attention amongst the adults. And so my brother understood narcissism just kind of innately already as a teenager. And he would always act like he was flirting with her, always complimenting her on her looks. And boy, you are a hot mama, and doing all this stuff to an 80-year-old. To me, it was like bizarre, but she just Googled it. She just loved it. So she loved my brother because he knew that she was a very, very self-centered person, and he played on that. Never got any birthday presents, Christmas presents from her. Just, man, my mother's parents were so narcissistic. But, it all shapes and molds you. And it helped to cause me to be more empathic. You know, when you're kind of mistreated, you become, at least hopefully, a lot more sensitive to others that are going through mistreatment. And when you see a new kid in your school, first day of school after summer vacation, and he's the brand new kid and he has no one to eat lunch with, you might be one of those few kids that goes and sits down with him, risking full well that you'll be ostracized or criticized for going and sitting with that weird new kid. You know, if you have an overweight friend that's being called fatso, you might be more likely to clench your fist and stand in front of him and go, hey, shut up, leave my friend alone. You know, so it helps give you the heart of Christ, that sympathetic, empathetic, kind of being able to know immediately when someone else is hurting and then wanting to do something for them. Homeless people, you know, you just can't help but having your heart go out to them. So it's all part of life's education, trials and tribulations, the ups and downs. And when you are a chosen one, though, God will use these things more to your benefit. They'll be more efficacious because He's trying to shape and mold you to become that warrior for His kingdom. Anyways, here's Bob's nice Harley. God bless. Have a good day.